Like Greg said, the fact that I think makes this so different than anything I just looked at here is that if he's saying that there's pieces of the engine on the runway, then that just makes this so different than any type of other thing I could have seen in these records. Because if that's true, then it then goes to, when did they notice this? Was there a discussion about, can we take off? You know, and I'm sure those are the questions. It is possible for a plane to take off with losing an engine.
Right.
What I just heard from that aviation expert, Lad Sanger, who's based in Texas, who I'm going to be putting together a package with him in a couple hours, is that probably the main issue here with this one is that, yes, they lost one engine under the wing, but as they were taking off, they also lost the second engine on the tail. According to the website Flight Aware, this plane was 2 hours and 2 minutes late departing SDF yesterday. No reason listed. Also, Flight Aware says that this aircraft was recently grounded for 6 weeks, possibly for major maintenance. Is this gonna be an event that aviation lawyers and people in this industry are going to be talking about for decades to come?
Yes. It is a defining seminal event like some of the other major commercial airline crashes.
A crash that will go down in Louisville history will also go down in aviation history as a major catastrophic event. Lad Sanger is an aviation lawyer based in Texas. He's been looking at the crash, including this video that shows a fire starting on the left wing during takeoff.
The engine fell off, the airplane's on fire, and then it appears that for some reason, whether it's FOD, probably, which is foreign object damage from the fire, that the center engine, the number 2 engine, started failing. That's the one in the tail. And that then left the airplane irreparably crippled. Heavy airplane with one engine, and there was nothing left for the flight crew to do.
Sanger and other experts are questioning the maintenance history of this plane. The website Flight Aware says this plane was 2 hours and 2 minutes late departing Tuesday. Todd Inman with the NTSB says it was not delayed due to maintenance.
UPS has indicated to us that it was not delayed and that there was not maintenance work done immediately before. Now, again, that is information that we will still collaborate and independently verify.
Flight Aware also shows this plane was grounded in San Antonio for 6 weeks from September 3rd to October 18th, 2025.
San Antonio is a place where airliners, there's a number of facilities there that do heavy maintenance on them.
We asked UPS if the plane underwent engine maintenance in San Antonio. The company has not responded yet.
There needs to be investigation into that and the subsequent maintenance that was done.
Sanger says at this point, there's no indication the pilots did anything wrong, and more will be revealed when investigators hear the conversations in the cockpit. In a very crowded backyard in Shepherdsville, Kentucky,
my dad one time said that his dream was to own a junkyard.
Emily Howell sees the axles and alternators from her past.
I totaled that one, but I still think there's hope for it.
One car she does not want to see again is this one, a red 1996 GMC Sierra.
I get aggravated at the whole situation.
She bought the car at a public auction at the LMPD impound lot for $1,026. It may seem like a lot for a 27-year-old car with condition truly unknown. For her, it was more about what came with the truck.
The kayak and the fishing poles that were pictured is ultimately why I upped the bid and just went for it.
The pictures on the auction post included 2 toolboxes, several fishing poles, a kayak, and a rolling dolly. And it said, carefully review the pictures and make your own value determination.
Like, that's just the only thing in the picture, so there was nothing to lead me to believe it wasn't going to be there.
Howell went to pay her invoice and watched as the tow truck driver she contracted hooked up the truck.
And that's when I noticed the kayak was no longer on top.
When it got dropped off in her driveway, she took her own photos and saw all the outdoor gear was gone.
The toolbox in the back is raised up because you can tell somebody rummaged through it.
Tow lot employees told her the previous owner had a court order to get his belongings back, but they wouldn't give her a copy. Howell gave us the name of the man she tracked down as the previous owner, and a court media representative told us no such order existed. She also messaged the man on Facebook, and he said he couldn't get his items because he was in jail at the time.
I know that he did not get his items out of that truck.
LMPD told us people can get items out of impounded vehicles up until the sale is final. They would answer no questions specifically about Howell's case. So where did this stuff go? I submitted an open records request for video of the truck in a specific area of the impound lot called the auction corral for 6 nights before the sale went final. My video request was denied, saying the records were part of an active criminal investigation, and the suspects in this investigation are unaware that they are acting within a camera, and the premature release of the requested video would tip them off that they are under criminal investigation.
You don't steal from people. You don't take things that aren't yours.
LMPD would not confirm its involvement in any investigation. Howell has heard nothing about the investigation, and she's chalked up this whole experience as a loss. I don't want to insult you, but did it make you feel like I got taken advantage of?
Oh, absolutely.
A picture was worth $1,000, especially one with tools, fishing poles, and a kayak, but Emily Howell can't float down the river on a picture. Travis Breese, WHAS 11 on your side. Why did you want to help this story get on the air?
We're supposed to identify problems and point them out. And when our leadership doesn't recognize those issues, what are we supposed to do? What's the next step?
A current Metro Louisville jail officer agreeing to speak anonymously about the issues he sees in LMDC. On September 24th, 2024, Officer David Fulner was escorting inmate Dante Williams into a holding cell in handcuffs. We obtained this video from a source within the jail. As he's about to close the door, Williams appears to spit in Fulner's direction. 2 investigative documents obtained through an open records request confirm the spitting. Although you can see Fulner is just inches away from closing the door, he enters the cell and throws Williams against the back wall. What do you see wrong in that video?
You had a clear path to exit. You didn't have to re-enter the cell.
As the video continues, Williams spits again. Fulner starts punching him and leaning down on his back. They stand up, and the pair crashes into the other side of the cell. Fulner gains control and holds Williams in an arm lock position until help arrives.
Use of force incidents that occur where an individual is restrained are rare. And I think that's why this was so concerning to officers.
In the PSU investigation, Fulner said his goal was to secure Williams's handcuffs to the back bench. The report says Williams was uninjured and refused medical treatment. The jail-confirmed body camera of the incident does exist, but has not released it. The video we have from a camera in the cell matches several details in the investigation. The investigation says Fulner violated both the Employee Code of Conduct and use of force policies. A jail spokesperson says Fulner was never placed on administrative leave, he's still working there, and a final decision on his discipline is still pending.
They should be using de-escalation tactics first.
We also showed the video to Leonard Vair, who has served as an expert witness in 140 plus cases involving prisons or jails and has over 26 years experience working in correctional facilities. I did not want to just focus on one incident, so I asked LMDC for every PSU investigation of officers improperly restraining, fighting with, or assaulting inmates since 2021. In a PSU investigation from May 2022, less than 2 months after jail director Jerry Collins took over, Officer Thomas Kraus canceled inmate Miller's hour out because he was shouting profanities and allegedly threatening another officer. To get Miller to go to his cell, Kraus pepper sprayed him 3 times and punched him twice, one just feet away from his cell. Inmate Miller threw 1 retaliatory punch, ran into his cell, where Officer Kraus followed him and punched him at least 6 more times. Are you seeing a lot of instances where officers should be leaving inmates alone and they're choosing not to?
Yes.
The report says Miller's face, quote, was in disarray, but without any bruising. Officer Kraus was suspended for 5 days. I first asked the jail spokesperson for an interview with Chief Jerry Collins about officers assaulting inmates, staffing issues, and more on February 26th. They never gave me a clear answer and instead answered questions over email on April 16th, just one day before our story was set to air. In response to officers engaging with inmates when they should leave them alone, like Leonard Vare said, Major Jason Logsdon wrote in part, quote, "Officers are required to make split-second decisions in rapidly evolving and unpredictable situations. LMDC officers undergo more training than any other corrections officers in the state of Kentucky. In total, I reviewed 17 investigations from 2021 to 2024 where officers violated their standard operating procedure when restraining an inmate. That's one every 3 months."
The total numbers itself isn't the concerning issue for me. What's concerning is the fact that these kinds of things continue to happen, but the level of discipline isn't significant.
At least 7 times, an officer had their discipline reduced after a meeting to discuss the penalty, like this sergeant who went from a recommended 20-day suspension down to a written reprimand.
You sort of are creating the culture where these types of things become permissible.
Major Logsdon said, "Leadership at Metro Corrections takes use of force seriously and applies appropriate disciplinary action. Officers have the right to appeal those decisions." Major Logsdon said on March 25th that LMDC had 311 sworn staff. That's 131 officers short from the 442 the department said it was budgeted for in its 2023 fact sheet.
The morale of our department is at an extreme low. That's been an issue. It was an issue when Collins took the role of chief of the department. He knew it was an issue. He said he was going to address the issue, and the issue has only gotten worse.
Hiring more recruits would likely help the low morale, but this officer says to keep those recruits, serious change is needed in the jail. Connie and Doug, there was a lot of hushed conversations between Republican senators throughout this afternoon trying to add up the numbers. How close were they? As you said, Connie, there are 40 Republican members of the Senate and only 19 votes for this measure, so over half of the caucus voted against it. This intersection of 12th Street and Rowan Street will be turned into one of the main entrances for Waterfront Park. People like Meadows think that this will not only attract folks living in the West End, but also more businesses. This fire truck has had 3 different logos on it over the last 3 years. Initially, the department was called New Chapel Fire, the entity started by Jamie Knoll. Then, that organization was ousted in June 2024, and the fire district created a new entity called New Albany Township Fire Rescue.